All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Today I'm talking with my friend Itto Outini, who you were on your I think it's your Twitter that says Fulbright.
Yes.
What is that about?
Fulbright is an exchange program. Hi, everyone. First, thank you so much, Neil, for having me in your channel. I'm so excited to share my story and my experience with our listeners today. So Fulbright is an exchange program sponsored by the U.S. State Department for people from all over the globe to study, do research, or teach, or it's a cultural / educational program for students and scholars all over the globe. So
fantastic. And I guess you came here under a scholarship.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So did you like do a complete whole like program for all that, like all your courses, like graduation and everything?
Yeah. So I came here to complete my master's in journalism and strategic media in the U.S. At the University of Arkansas.
Fantastic. Why journalism?
So it's a very long story. I think it's because of my life experience, because each one of us has a passion towards something, and for me it happens to be journalism. I was homeless in Morocco for 6 years, and journalism was something that I was interested in because I hoped that the media would give their attention to my story, and I could have been, saved earlier or something, not to be like homeless for 6 years. And I dived into research in the media, and basically was convinced, or still I'm convinced, with the power of the media and how the media are very powerful on shaping the minds of the people. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it seems today though that they're going kind of sideways. So
yeah.
Yeah. But there's still decent forms of media out there. But anyways, all of that aside, fantastic that you ended up doing that and coming over here and getting your education and a master's, no boot. That's fantastic, Itto. But basically what I do here is I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever religious belief or any kind of belief really that they used to have, that they found their way out of. And maybe you could just take us back a little ways to when you were in whatever belief system you were in, and when you started noticing things that weren't quite right, and the dominoes started falling, and you eventually made your way out of it, and becoming the, I guess, form of an activist that you are today.
Yeah. So my name is Itto Outini. As I said, I was born and raised in Morocco, a mixture of two cultures / religions. My father was a Jewish Berber Amazigh Moroccan native, and my mother was an Arab Muslim. So
wow.
My mother died when I was little. I don't know when. I never saw her. I don't know her. I just heard a bunch of stories. I don't know which one of them is, the right one, which one of them is true. So I just know that she died. So. Wow. Basically, when she died, I was raised with my dad's family, traveled from home to home, and it's a Jewish mixed with some crazy other religion where we prayed to fire, and practically it was bad. But now looking back at it, it was funny because fire is something to fear, and it exists. So
yeah,
we could look at it and be like, oh. But now I'm totally blind, so I guess it wouldn't scare me after all, unless I put my hand on it.
Wow! At what age did the blindness occur?
So I have another story that is kind of not. My story is complicated. I make fun of it, saying it could fit everywhere. So I don't know the exact age, but when I was 17, my uncle's wife stabbed me with a sharp object. I think it was a knife to my right eye, and she made me become blind. And that was, so when I was little, I stayed with my dad's family. Maybe I was 12 or 11. I'm not sure, because as I said, I was not I didn't even know how to count from 1 to 3 to begin with. So I
Right.
didn't know my last name and my first name. People would call me like my father's daughter under my father's name or my mom's daughter when I was at my mom's family. But I moved to my mom's family where I was introduced to Islam. So it's been fun. I visited all religions. I subscribed and unsubscribed from all of them now, being an atheist. I am out of all of it. Yeah, so my left eye started to, it's a glaucoma, and glaucoma is an illness that, gets to the eyes and it damages. It depends on how it kind of feels that it's going to do the complete job. But I just removed it actually a week ago, my left eye. And my right eye, my uncle's wife removed in 2007. That was the year where my family, my mom's family, left me in the hospital, and I ended up being homeless. But at the same time, I went to school, so I thank them for that. Actually, it was good.
It's almost like
me by blinding me, which I am writing my memoir, and the title of my book is "Blindness is the Light of My Life," and I talk about how blindness has made things possible for me. It has made me become the person I am today. It has made me open my mind to question everything, starting from my existence, to the whole world, to friendship, to people, to nature, to religions, to everything. So, yeah.
Wow, fantastic. I mean, not that you had to end up being blind. I mean, that's obviously something that I think most of us would like to not have happen, but it did happen. And it's amazing that you said that becoming blind almost opened doors for you.
Yes, I was not. As I said, at the age of 17, I didn't even know my last name. I remember I celebrated my first birthday when I was 18. So yay. And I didn't know that there's a thing. I mean, I knew that people would be born, but I didn't know that there's a thing that where we have to celebrate our birthdays, blah, blah, blah. So I remember my teacher asked me for my birth certificate, and I handed it to her, and she's like, April 15th. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And she's like, oh, Itto. And she's like, your name. And she's like, how do you spell your name? And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. And she's like, it's Itto. And I was like, oh, nice. So it opened the doors to education. I could have been still a slave to my family, and I was abused. My family, both, unfortunately, my mother and my dad's family, both of them abused me in many, many ways, like psychologically, physically, sexually, mentally.
Oh, wow.
It was really bad. Like, I was deprived of the most important thing, like food, shelter. I was sent to sleep in the snow. By the way, Morocco is not, it's in Africa, but it's not hot. I grew up in the mountains. It's super snowy. So,
like here where I am. Well, not right now, but yeah, in the winter.
Soon.
Yeah, soon too.
Yeah.
A couple months away anyways. It's still really hot here. And we're dealing with all the smoke from the fires all down the West Coast. So
wow.
Yeah. It's actually better today than it's been for a while, but it's just like, and then we had a fire literally 2 miles away from me.
Wow.
2 kilometers or so away from me. And it was all creosote covered wood. So all you could smell was burning creosote.
Oh, wow.
It was terrible.
Oh,
we got into our air vent system. So all the apartments smelled like it too for a while.
Oh no. Sorry about that.
It stinks, but you get used to it after a bit. Not that you want to, but
yeah. We're okay here in the States. The state that I am in Arkansas, where it's a quiet here. Yeah.
So you experienced Judaism, I guess, which is the religion I grew up in.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we have that in common, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I did. But as I said, I was not it was. I don't know if it was the reason I was abused. Of course, being a female, how the Old Testament basically, represents females is just no fun. And that my friends took on me. In addition to me being, my dad's family was seeing me as an Arab. So when I was I think 12 or 11, I'm not sure, I was moved to my mom's family, where I was introduced to another form of religion, which is Islam, where things were very, very hard, where I was forced to memorize the Quran, and I was forced to put a headscarf and pray 5 times a day, and I have a really loud voice. I don't know why. I was talking lately to a Christian woman, and I said, you know what, do you believe in God? And she's like, yeah. And I said, God gave me a loud voice because he knew that I would become blind so that I would be a good radio journalist. So so I can't. But in Islam, it was really hard for me to, lower my voice down. And that was like one of the reasons my family would basically punish me for that. And also just like them thinking that I was Jewish and I have to go back to my mom's family, and it was a big problem. But when I went to school in 2007, when I was 17, I like for anyone to say that it's my first 17 years when I was not educated, where I doubted Judaism or Islam. That's not true, because at the time I was practicing what I learned from the family. I was not educated. I didn't know how to read. I didn't even know my name. So that was just what I was forced to practice. But when I went to school in 2007, when I was 17, I wanted to know more. I was homeless, so I was sexually abused. As I said in my blog for the Atheist blog, I published a week or 2 weeks ago. Literally, I sought God and I found myself instead. That's the title of my blog. So
That's great.
Yeah, I dove into research where I wanted to know more. So Morocco, like, even though my dad's family is Jewish, we have Berbers, or most of them are Jewish. Some of them are, and they just are ancient, like they practice nothing. Most of people, or Googly speaking, Morocco is a Muslim country, 99%. So everyone is forced to practice Islam and required to practice Islam. And by law, you're born in Morocco, therefore you're Muslim by the Islamic law. So I wanted to understand more into, the God concept, and if God really created me. So it was like in my article, in my blog, I said, I finally freed myself psychologically, emotionally, and mentally, so that, as well as culturally. So it was really hard. Like I would, pray, and I would get raped and went through abortion 3 times. And I'm like, wait, where is God? Like, of course, suffering is not the reason I am an atheist. No, that is not true. Like, yes, of course, if there is a God, or at least a good God, there will be no suffering to an innocent teenagers or kids, or, a lot of things that are going, of course, that I know, and everyone who is able to somehow think just little knows that we humans are the ones who cause this kind of, suffering. Like me ended up being in Morocco. Of course, the burden is on my family, on the Moroccan society, the Moroccan government. Like I am now an asylum in the US, so I'm free to talk about this. Before I was not, I was kind of hiding, just trying to survive and to be alive, because one word about my past would have cost me my life if I spoke about things. Just removing a headscarf in 2014 was really hard. Like I had to invent stories and tell people, the faith is in my heart or whatever, even though there is blood pumping in my heart. Like
that's what's really in there. It's just a muscle to pump blood. You don't need. There's no love in there. There's no faith in there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's nothing, but I had to say that there was something. But so, yeah, like as I said, when I started school, I started from the 7th grade because of my age. I was 17. So instead of 12 years, it took me 6 years to graduate high school. So I wanted to know, the first thing I was studying was like the 5 pillars of Islam. And I was thinking about, why do I have to go to Mecca? why don't I just, why the people who go to Mecca instead, if they help build, shelters for homeless people, like I wouldn't suffer, and this and this. And I just was like trying to get to the conclude that it's man-made. So my father abandoned me when my mother died. So my father died when I was in the 11th grade. So in 2011, and when he died, I heard about it, and I had to go to bring my documents, and I found out that, of course, he was killed in a car accident. So I had to do a lot of documents, and I found out that my uncles and him, like they told like everyone that I am not his daughter. Like I'm not sure if I am his daughter or not. So I've never done any, DNA tests or whatever. So I'm not sure if I am.
It's going to be hard to do that now.
I mean, I don't care. Like with my brothers and all of that, to be honest, like it's fine. Like I have siblings, both from my mother and my father, but we have been disconnected since I was a kid. So I am now in America, like in a foreign country, with foreign people, and it's cool. So nice. So
cool.
There's no need. There's no need to be. I try to connect with God, with people, but there was like literally when people tell me like God is like a father, I'm like, yeah, like mine. Cool.
Yeah, non-existent.
Yeah, never existed. But that led me to do research in inheritance in Islam, and I found nothing on like disabled. It was heartbreaking. Like, well, did God create disabled people? Well, yeah. But did God forget about, of course, women get a quarter of, what the males would get, like females and males in the inheritance. So I wanted to know if females with disability, would get something, but I ended up getting nothing. And I looked at like Western world and how, disabled people, like in America, we have Social Security, like you get that at least to eat. Well, like, like here's like the government is, giving people their rights better than any God could or have done in my like Abrahamic religions that I kind of wasted a lot of time reading and thinking, and which is like now I'm glad, but also like at the same time it was just a waste of time looking into that. Why not just know from the beginning that there is nothing and it's all man-made and be good to go? But I had to do it. Yeah.
Wow. So you kind of, it's funny because I was born to a Christian couple, but given up for adoption because my father's mother was very staunch Catholic. So, and when you weren't married and you had kids, it was a big no-no. So I was given up for adoption, and I was raised Jewish by a Jewish couple. So I was actually always said to myself, if this God guy is real and this Jesus guy is supposed to be the only way you can get to heaven, then why the fuck would this guy put me with Jewish people who don't believe in Jesus?
Oh, no.
What kind of plan is this? Like, what is this? So, but it's interesting because I've met my biological family, and I've known them now for over 20 years, and it's been fantastic. But I've gotten to know a little bit. Well, I've had Christian friends my whole life too when I grew up, and even a couple of Muslim friends that I've also known, and a Jehovah's Witness friend that I grew up down the street from me. So I was engaged in multiple different beliefs and faiths and stuff like that. So it's not like I didn't have any knowledge of them, but it must have been interesting with a family that was sort of split with the Judaism and the Islam as well. Did you ever feel that they were like tug of warring to have you in a certain belief, or did they just say, "Hey, go your own way"?
No. So with my dad's family, because I was raised with that, when I went to my mom's family, so as I said, in Morocco, there is a different religions are practiced, but not many people know, or most of the people don't know. Most of people assume that everyone practices Islam. So I was beaten a lot when I moved to my mom's family because, I would practice things that didn't make sense to them. And like they would like insult me saying, dirty Berber, like donkey, a whore, like you go back to your dad's family, you will never learn. And I was confused, but I didn't know, basically to tell them, hey, like, I want to learn it, like, just, it's like a computer, kind of restart myself from the beginning. That wasn't the case. I just would take it by day. And also some of my family were, culturally Muslims, my mom's family. Some of them were academically Muslims. So you know how religions are, like they differ from one person to one person, because
Sure thing.
like practical parts of them are different. Like some of them would be, this is how you should do it. Like, for example, just praying. Like I am really fast. Like even now, the way I talk, like I speak 7 languages, so I can switch from one to another, and I speak so fast, like in all of them.
Hold on. Did you just say?
I don't have blind punctuations in my brain, so my brain just goes and thinks about it. But it was like.
Did you say? Hold on, Itto. Did you say 7 languages?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
I'm hoping to learn Spanish starting next month. But I'm so excited. I love learning languages. I love learning technology and things. If I only was introduced to this cool stuff before, that would be cool. But hey, even practicing the God thing for a while was kind of what led me to be a person who is interested in learning. I was more kind of questioning everything and wanted to know, and that's how things. I think that's how you get to be an investigative journalist kind of thing. So I am I'm not happy that it happened, but also I am glad that I was there questioning things and find the answers just through reading and research and all of that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, holy cow. I mean, it sounds to me like you went through quite a bit. I mean, you talk about, I don't want to like open up a wound or anything, but you talked a little bit about sexual abuse as well. Like, was that from a family member?
Well, it's both my family members as well as when I was homeless. So now when I talk about, homelessness and unfortunately, like over 2 weeks ago, I was talking to someone and they are saying like, there's not that many disabled homeless women. So why do we have to talk about it? I'm like, if we save one person, it's better than nothing. So we have to talk about it until like 50% of the world becomes homeless or something. But yeah, it was hard. Like I was, me being blind, I couldn't defend myself, and I was an easy target to everyone. When I was with my family, I was an easy target to. I was first sexually abused when I was little. Again, I don't know the age. Like I knew my age when I was 17 when I went to school. And it's funny now when I look at like when people talk about 9/11. I remember the event, but I didn't know how old I was until like I would go and be like, yeah, I was born in 89. That means I am blah, blah. Like I just do the, the traditional mathematical counting down or whatever.
Sure. You kind of just trace back now. You know which age you are, and you can count back to figure out different times, I guess.
Yeah, some of them, if it's like a big event, as I said, like 9/11 and all of that. But if it's, me being sexually abused by a family member, then, I don't know which year, because it was just a year that only is related to my story, not to the whole world or part of the world. Yeah.
Sure. Wow. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that you had to put up with that kind of crap, because that's absolute fucking bullshit, in my opinion. Yeah. So sorry about that. I'm just very Canadian. We say sorry for everything, it seems. But
Canadians are awesome. I have a Canadian friends. You guys. Yeah.
Well, we're all right. We like our hockey and our beer, and that's pretty much
nice. Well, that's cool.
And you know what? We're a fairly secular country, so I'm pretty pleased about that.
Mm-hmm.
We have our religious whack jobs here, of course, as well, that want to take control, but they never will, not here.
Mm-hmm.
At least as far as, I guess I can't say never, but it won't happen in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's whenever I would like when someone would ask me, like in the States, yeah, there's, Christians and Muslims and all of that here in the States, but no one would come to me now and say, why are you talking on YouTube, like to someone, or why are you listening to pop music? Or, there's degrees to that. It's, of course, people would try to preach to me or like meet me on the street and try to give me a printed Bible. The Mormons would do that sometimes, or would try to get me to go to church or something. But it's not, I am grateful to the U.S. government for giving me a shelter, asylum, and I really, really appreciate that, and I make it now. The U.S. is my home, and I will stay here until I will leave the world. So
until you feed the worms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all about it. Last week I had surgery, and I was talking to my friend. I said, you know what? It's really cool. I died. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, one of my other friends asked me if I can remember. And I said, well, I'll try. But I didn't, because, it's literally, everything was stopped. And the doctors did the surgery, and I'm back now. And I said, you know what? That's how death is. I've been there. And I know it's going to be just, you're going to sleep and never wake. And
Yep.
I used to be afraid of that. The horror that Islam put on me, like, it's really like, as I said, especially like with disability, like you're disabled, you're cursed. God is like, gave you this disability to punish you. Like, for what? What I've done? Like, I've done nothing to be punished for. Plus,
no, not at all.
I'm like, I guess God is my uncle's wife. Is that what you're saying? Because she's with me. If that's the case, then no, I don't want her either.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
As you were saying earlier, that she was kind of a bitch. So
all my family were just bitches and son of bitches, all of them. So, yeah, I unfortunately, when I was awarded the Fulbright, I was in the news all over the country, and on my Facebook account, like, people would contact me and be like, I am the son of this person, and they will go like 5 uncles or something, so that I will remember that uncle who sexually abused me when I was a baby. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, where are you texting me now? Like, and I remember one of them texted me on Facebook, and when I didn't reply, they started video calling me. And I said, don't video call me, asshole. And he is like, why? I want to show my friends that I have a cousin in America. I'm like, yeah, I got it now, because I am in America. But when I was in Morocco, homeless, like, you didn't know that you have a homeless cousin, right? But now I was in America. So yeah, my family is just a weird family. My ex-family, let's say.
Yeah, ex-family. Were some of them trying, now that you're in the US here in North America, were some of them trying to sort of see if they could somehow manipulate you to help them get over?
Well, yeah, actually, one of my cousins from my mom's side texted me and said, you know the meaning of education, so I want you to help me pay for my sister's school. And I'm like, oh, actually, that's weird. That's like, who paid for my school? I had to work in restaurants, like go as a blind and try to wash dishes at nights, and struggle with school and all of that before I was rescued by an American couple in Morocco from homelessness. Like, when I was homeless, I had to work a lot so that I could get my books and go through school. Like, and now, it's just like, my family never contacted me or will never contact me for the sake of, like, reuniting or something. It's all about like, oh, you're in America, whether they want to show off, which is okay, I guess. That one I could swallow. Or most of the times, oh, we love you and we want you to send us some money, because being in America, of course, is,
oh yeah, land of rich people.
Yeah, and I'm rich now.
Apparently, right?
Yeah.
If only that were the case.
It's like, you just landed and you find like this a big suitcase full of American dollars, and you just send whoever wants some.
Just throw it all over the place. Some for you, some for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
No, just
logic.
tell them to get off their asses and get a damn job and pay for their own damn school, just like you did.
Yeah. But no, I ended up deleting my Facebook. And just as I said, I don't want to deal with the people who'd be, because when I was in the media, also people would go like on Facebook and say, oh, someone was saying like they were helping me, driving me to school. And I was like, what the heck? I was walking to school, like, and when my American friends, when they found me on the street and they took me home and they rescued me, they ended up paying my rent and paying for my transportation to go to the American Language Center and all of that. So there was no help that anyone could claim. It's just someone wanting to feel good in front of the people on social media. So I couldn't deal with that. And I received a lot of like really rude messages after I announced that I got asylum here in the States. And I lost all my friends in Morocco. So like people were like, well, we're happy that you got it, like under what? And of course there are, 5 grounds for asylum. And I tested them it's like literally I could have said the other 4, which, political or whatever the other ones, but I literally said, I'm an atheist, and they would block me and be like, God blinded both your mind and your eyes. And I'm like, well, you could say that God blinds my eyes, but not my mind, man. I am a Fulbright scholar. Like, what are you saying? There's no such thing. And I have achieved everything. Like when I was homeless, I was dreaming about going to America, and here I am, like literally starting from zero. Like I remember when I boarded the plane to America, I didn't even have the money to bring with me. And I remember when I landed in Atlanta, I was hungry and I didn't even have $5 or $7 to buy a sandwich. So from nothing to something. So I'm so proud of my accomplishments. And of course,
should be
credit to myself. There has never been any evidence that there is some God in there that did it. If God would do it, why the heck do I need to go through, tests like TOEFL and GRE and reading books and all of that? So yeah.
They know what they say. God helps those that help themselves.
That's an English.
It's a load of bullshit.
yeah, but that's here in the Western world. Like in Morocco, you can't say that. Now you just believe that God would do it. But if other people do it, then they say, "Oh, God did it for you."
Yeah. There are some comments in the comment section that I wanted to read to you. I've already posted them underneath here, but Dragons in Genesis podcast has said, "This woman, meaning you, is the definition of strength," which I thought was very nice. And Derek Cruz said, "Thank you, great show. Thank you, Itto."
Thank you.
And Atheist News, my friend, his name is Stephen. It's amazing that after all she's been through, that she can still smile.
Ah, that's sweet.
And a great smile you have. And he says it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
There was some more up here. I've sort of been watching them go by, and I wanted to come back. And Dragons and Jets actually made an interesting post earlier. A fun fact of the day: the practice of praying 5 times a day in Islam was borrowed from the Persian religion of Zoroastrianism.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that was about it so far. But yeah.
That's really actually yesterday I was telling my friend about how the story of the 5, praying 5 times, and in the Quran, like how basically like when Muhammad went to the God and he met Moses on the way, and he told him, hey, people can do it 50 times a day, and he went to negotiate. And my friend said, oh, like why did he have to do that? And I said, well, because he knows that I am blind and my assistive technology is very slow at doing. Like if I need to type, it takes a long time. And if I need to pray 50 times a day, I wouldn't be able to pay my rent and utilities. So, it's all like borrowing. And I understand that in that time, I think it was needed. People didn't have any, media to they didn't have books to read. There was limited knowledge, people needed stories. Like I remember at my dad's family, we used to tell stories before we go to bed because we didn't have electricity, and you know the Kindles would be very expensive to bring, and they had to bring them from far away, or the bottle gas would bring it from far away. So the elderly women would tell us stories before we sleep at night, and they would be, you know, the 7 animals together, which one of them is going to win, and all of that, the other stories from the Bible, from the Old Testament, and all of that stuff. And that was, you know, that was needed at the time. But now I don't think I need a story before I go to bed. I need to read a book, man. I have just today downloaded 50 books that I wanted to read, and I don't think I have the time to hear the story about someone, like, you know, there's a lot of things that are for me impossible to believe in, like in religions, like, you know, like things that have never been, like, that happened in my life or have been demonstrated, like, you know, like going somewhere, in like flying somewhere, or like, as I said, just the how like the disabled people are you know, viewed, or like how, you know, in Judaism there's like disabled people, disability is punishment, and like the, you know, Mary, who was punished because she is disabled for a while until she came back to God. And like my family like would tell me that, like, you have to, well, I'm like, I'm sure 100%, even if I believe in Yahweh now, I wouldn't be unblinded because I don't even have eyes. Like there's no way, unless the technology makes like a talking camera, then that's not me seeing. That's technology does it. So yeah, it's.
Do you think that they'll ever come up with like? I'm not sure if you're familiar with Star Trek: The Next Generation.
No.
They had a character that was on the show, and he was blind, but he had a special visor that he could see like different spectrums of the electromagnetic, like ultraviolet, the red one, whatever the hell it's called, I can't remember right now. But anyways, you can see in different parts of the spectrum. And then he had ocular implants, and I've heard somewhere that they're actually working on ocular implants that they'll be able to restore eyesight, which I'm sure you probably looked into.
Yes,
do you think you might ever go for something like that, or?
No, I'm so happy to be blind. Yeah, I listened to a podcast. I think it was yesterday or Sunday. There was it's a input output podcast, and they talked about the implant that they do, and you know, the one that they did for like they have been doing for a long time for deaf people so that they can hear. Right. They developed it now to where it could help people who can't walk to walk again. And that was, for me, wow. That's like something to celebrate. What the heck? Like, we still believe in the book that is like forced to believe in the book that is 1400 years. And like, instead we should celebrate what humans have accomplished. And for me, that is amazing, because there are people, I have a friend in Morocco who is blind, and she is hoping that one day she would be able to see again. I don't. I am so happy to be blind. It doesn't stop me from what I'm doing. I've been traveling around the globe. I've been working. I've been studying. I got my master's degree. I can't wait to go back to school to get another master's degree and PhD. Damn it, coronavirus, because I am not able to travel now. But when coronavirus is over, whatever, I'm very excited to go to travel. I make friends with the airports, so I don't see any need to see again. The only thing that I want is I want technology to be more accessible, so that I can, you know, I can use like Google Maps in a very like effective way, so that I can know where I go and all of that. Because lately I've been making fun of like a guide dog, and I'm like, how do I know how to pick up the poop and all of that stuff? I don't have a guide dog because I'm still thinking about like the fact that I need. And someone was talking to me in the blind organization here in the States, and she said they will teach you, and she said you can put a plastic bag, turn it upside down, blah, and she was telling me how to do it. And I said, well, how about if the dog has diarrhea? And she's like, what a problem. Like, I've never had anyone to ask me that question like you.
Your little doggy diarrhea vacuum, just suck it up.
That's fun. I actually, I think 3 days ago, I dropped blackberries on the floor, and I didn't want to go there and try to find them with my hands, so I just used the vacuum, and it was fun.
Yeah, but now who has to clean the vacuum now?
It was fun, like just hearing them going in there. Ooh, it was fun. I'm like, I would, if I knew the result, I would have done it before anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, whatever works, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, of course, when I was Muslim, I didn't accept my disability. At the time, it was really, really hard. Like, I was thinking, God punished me, and I had to pray harder to, ask Allah to give back my eyes to me and punish my uncle's wife. Like, I hated her when I was Muslim. Now I don't. Now, after reading, psychology and the human's minds and how people behave, the way behaviorism and all of that, social psychology and all of that, I am now more, understanding to why my family did things they did to me. I don't have grudges. Of course, I don't want to talk to them, not because of trauma or whatever, but I know they're assholes and they will never change. So, just let them be who they are. And I am happy with my own life.
That's excellent. And yeah, you know what? You don't need people that are going to try and tear you down after you've built yourself up as amazingly as you have, Itto. I mean, for someone that has gone through what you've gone through and then faces life without sight, and to make all the achievements that you've done is absolutely amazing. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And many people in the chat are giving you big hearts and all kinds of stuff. And and the one I was trying to remember, the other spectrum, was infrared. That's the red one I was trying to remember.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes memories they just, sometimes I say it's in my mind, but it's not in my mouth.
Yeah. That I like that. I used to say I must have scribbled over that on my mental notepad.
Oh, with Apple Pencil, kind of.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek Cruz has said that you are an inspiration to him, and theoretically has said great attitude. Yeah, you're getting lots of love from the crowd. So
I appreciate you guys, and I'm glad we're able to digitally meet. Actually, it's funny when people talk to me about the COVID. I'm like, no, it has helped me. I've been speaking all over the globe and met people all over the world. So hey, it's good. I'm sad that people are dying and
of
people
course
are losing their loved ones. But like personally, I like when people ask me like if I feel lonely or something. No, actually, I'm digitally connected to the whole world.
Exactly. And you know what? If you have to find some positives out of what's gone on with the whole COVID thing, I think that's one of the things is people have a lot more time at home, and we can get together and have great little conversations just over the web using this one, StreamYard or Zoom or Google or whatever you want to use. And I think it's been good for me in a way, because people that I've been trying to get to be able to come on the show actually have the time to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get my good friend Vice Rhino to come on here for over a year. And he's finally like, okay, all right, since the whole thing's going down, I have time, we can do it. So I finally got to book him too. So
that's really cool. So actually, like when people would ask me, like, I remember one day one of my friends asked me who is she asked me 3 questions. Who is my favorite person in history? And I told her there is many. And she asked me, do I wish to meet them? And I said, no, because I've already met them. And she's like, what do you mean? Like people who lived in the 17th century? I'm like, yeah, through reading, come on. Like I've read about them. And also like the 3rd question is like, which time do you wish to live? And I said now, because number 1, I live here now. Number 2, there's no way I can go and live in the past or the future because I don't know. Number 3, I'm happy living here. And like for me, I look at like how technology, how like, the disabled people like myself, have become independent. We are able to educate ourselves, to travel the world, to write books, to do a lot of things that, the only thing that we have to work on is make religious people understand that, hey, we're disabled, but we don't need to be holy. That's it. We're disabled atheists, and we're happy to join the people to have some wine in hell. If such thing is a thing, just let it be. And the other thing is, like, society, when people would, think someone is disabled and they are less than them. And of course, most people, some religious people, think that someone is disabled, they are sad, they're sad because they're disabled. I ended up my blog by saying that no one has the right to tell me why I am an atheist. I am not sad. I am not grieving, losing the thought of the God existence. Actually, it's the opposite. I am happy. I'm glad that I am in this life. And like, when my friends would say like, oh, are you afraid of getting COVID? I'm like, there's two options when I get it, whether die or live. If I live, I have a lot of plans. I have, I want to write books. I want to study. I want to inspire people. I want to change what I can change. If I cannot change, a lot, I can change little. If I die, then goodbye the world. That's all about it.
Yeah.
There is no third option.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, most people survive COVID. That's already known. But usually if you have a compromised immunity, you could possibly get really, really sick or even die. But and a lot of elderly people whose immune systems aren't quite up to speed anymore, they tend to pass on. I lost a friend to it. But he already was immunocompromised to begin with. So when he caught it, it was from a care person that was at his facility. So it's unfortunate. But my very good friend Peter, who's also known as Gonna Go For It, says a lot of people could learn from her. He loves your spirit.
Thanks. Spirit?
Your spirit, your energy, that kind of thing.
I was like, what?
I thought we didn't believe in spirits. Not that kind of spirit.
Yeah, my fridge was, I don't know, like making some sound, and I said my fridge has spirit, a ghost.
Someone keeps eating my food.
Well, if it's a ghost, it's welcome, Why not? Yeah. We should share things with whoever is in there. And if it's something that can go in the freezer, then let it be.
Let it be, let it be. So, of the 7 languages that you speak, is one of them possibly Hebrew?
No, I don't. No, there are 4 of North African languages, and I speak French and Arabic and English. Those are
okay.
Yeah, I was forced to speak Arabic, which I like poems. I don't like. I don't know, like, my problem with like religious books, especially the Old Testament and the Quran, is like the violence that is. Like, I can't. I am very compassionate. Like, when I read it, I get unhappy. Like, even though I like the languages, but I don't like to read those texts. They're too much for me. Yeah,
I'd like to hear your thought on this one. Vesta Freya, who's in my chats quite often, has become friends with me. Vesta's saying that I really hate the term disabled. It strikes me as condescending. I prefer differently enabled. What's your feeling on that sort of thing?
There's no such thing as feeling.
Well, we do. Okay. When you hear someone say something like that, how does it strike you emotionally?
Well, I mean, a week, I think it's like 10 days ago, I shared my story on religion and disability with recovering from religion. And Eric asked me this question, like, of, do you want, like, how do you want people to call me, or something like that? It depends on who says what, like, for example, if someone has never been introduced to enabled or like blind, visually impaired, it doesn't matter. My friend, so as I said, my right eye was taken by my uncle's wife, and my left eye I took a week ago. They removed it, the doctor did. And my friends call me iceless. So, it's a new word that we invented. But, it depends. Like, as I said, if someone uses a word as like looking at someone as less than them, or dehumanizing them or something, even if they use visually impaired or enabled or something, it still is the same for me. But like disabled, blind, we have a lot of words in Moroccan languages that we use for the blind, and my blind friends would be unhappy to hear those words. For me, I am concerned more about actions, not words. Words are just words. Like someone can talk, say whatever the heck they want, and I don't give them that. So
yeah, you can swear on my show. It's okay.
Okay.
Trust me, it hasn't stopped anyone yet.
Nice.
And sometimes I get a little on the foul-mouthy side too. So depends on how many beers I put away, I suppose. No, I'm kidding. Half a beer, and I'm going, "Fuck you, you dick," like that kind of thing. So
yeah, it's in our genes, Where
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's been a study, actually more than one that I've seen now, that say people who swear are actually more intelligent. So
yeah, it's just like how it gets some people uncomfortable. Like for me, as I said, everything is a word. Like blind, damn blind, whatever people want to say, like swearing. Like I remember a few, like a little, I don't know, like over a month ago, someone asked me, "How do you identify as?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And they were confused. Like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "Yeah, because like, people would be like, I am a Berber, I am this or that." And they were asking me like, "Are you a woman of color?" I said, "No." And said, "Are you white?" I said, "No." I wanted to confuse them because those ideologies, we should be, we shouldn't be thinking about those things now. Like, oh, you're short. Oh, you're like your body. Oh, blah blah. Like the beauty and all of those things are just nonsense. That for me, we should focus more on things. Like, why are we losing focus and focusing on like, oh, this person looked at me this way. That means
trivialities.
Had me like it's like I don't want to be focusing on those things. Instead, I want to put my energy in the good things that are happening in the world. Like I was talking to my very Christian friend, and I only have one very Christian friend. So, and like they thought, when I had surgery last week, I was, emotionally not doing well. I said, no, my eyes were swollen. Like if it was last week we did the show, like I wouldn't be able to talk. Like it was really like my face, my eyes were bleeding. It was a big surgery. Like I had for both eyes. And I said, no, like it's not like that. And I said, I'm grateful. Like there's a lot of wonderful things to be grateful for in this world. Like just having a stranger that I don't know came over and stayed with me for a whole week to take care of me. That is, that is wonderful thing to celebrate. There is good still in there. Unfortunately, some ideologies like religions corrupt some people. And that is the main reason I talk about like the disability and atheism. Like, I am disabled and I'm an atheist and I'm a good person. Like being atheist doesn't make me a bad person,
That's right. That's right. That's right. Just trust me, Itto, you're one of the best of us. I can already tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
So there was someone else had something they wanted to say too. Oh, Peter said, yeah, her being so upbeat and full of plan instead of spirit. He says, spirit may have been chosen unwisely.
Hey, it's just, in Arabic, we say, inshallah, like God willing. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ayan Ali Hirsi. Like when I read her book, I felt like, yeah, Ayan, that's actually, yeah, that's, I feel you on that one. I belong. It's impossible to talk like to someone in Arabic and not say, "Yes, see you tomorrow, inshallah." And she said literally when she was in Europe, she like would have to remind herself to not say it. And, you know, words, as I said before, are just words. So Peter, I was just making fun of the spiritual and all of that. So don't worry about it. We can use spirit. We can use, oh my God, we can use God help you and all of that. You know, it's just word. It's
yeah. I mean, they're figures of speech really is what they are. Somebody tells you something and you're surprised bored, or you're surprised by it, or horrified or something, you go, oh my God, like that just comes out. We don't even think about it, right? So,
yeah. Now, actually, my undergrad is in linguistics, so it was fun, like studying linguistics and like different languages, and I am still like amazed with the language structure, semantics, and syntax. Like when people say things, I'm like, this is this or that. So.
And let's not forget, languages evolve over time too. I mean, there are words in the Canadian Oxford Dictionary. They actually put in words like LOL in the dictionary.
Oh.
It means laugh out loud. Yep. And they also put in the word double, which started from Tim Hortons. It's a specific coffee order. It means double cream, double sugar. And that's in the Canadian Oxford Dictionary now. I'm like, why did that need to go into the dictionary? But languages evolve. Their words are intrinsic, so they just change over time. The word atheism, like when I hearken back to the days of Carl Sagan, his definition of atheist, which is why he never called himself an atheist, by the way, was because, and I posted a little bit about this the other day, was because in his definition, the word atheism or atheist meant someone who knew there was no God. And he always claimed that he was never that wise, that he couldn't possibly have told someone that there is no God. He says, I don't see the evidence for any, so I don't believe. So you can call me a non-believer, or we might call him an agnostic today because he's dealing with knowledge rather than belief. But yeah, I mean, words change over time, because now the word atheist to me today means I don't have a belief in a deity. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I never claim, and I will never claim that I know that there is no God. But I know that there is no God because I can't see or met or, you know, any God. And the evidence to like the religions that I was introduced to are obvious that they're man-made. So even if they say, well, who created you? Well, I am limited in my knowledge. I know that a Berber man with an Arab woman decided to, you know, marry and have sex, and here I am. Like, that's all what I know. Like, I don't know anything else. I don't know where I was, if I was, before I came here. So, of course, the fear that religions impose on people, or some religious people, is the main reason that is, you know, like to define atheism becomes sometimes hard, or to even say that someone is an atheist. Like, I started saying that I am an agnostic. Of course, with my educational level, I was not satisfied with it, because I am an agnostic would make some religious people think that they had the answer for me. They were like, oh, let's read the Quran, let's read the Bible. Well, I read it a million times. Like, what would it? Then they would be like, no, because it says if you reread it again. Well, I'm sorry. Like, I have a lot of books that I want to write, and I have a lot of articles that I need to read. So I don't like to reread even my favorite books. I don't like to reread them again and again. So, you know, it's like saying an atheist is like you're telling them, like that they are taught that you're telling them that you are not a good person, or that you know that there is no God. But we never say that, hey, I have a scientific evidence. I went somewhere and I interviewed angels and they told me that there is no God, kind of thing. Like, there's no such thing. So don't worry, we're not saying that.
You interviewed an angel?
Yeah. You know, actually, one of my best friends, from Morocco, ex-best friend, I would say. He was the last one to lose. So I was talking to him and he said, like, you're a journalist, you should know that there is God. And I'm like, well, in journalism, we don't study anything about God, actually. We just study about how to report news and all of that. And he said, oh, you are damned and you blah, blah. And he was saying all of that. And I said,
Sure.
the main reason I chose journalism is to interview God about, number one, why did he confuse me with 10,000 religions? If there's only one and none, I would be like, yeah, there's one and none. None is like people who are against it. But me being introduced to unlimited ones, including Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism. I even have a Buddhist friend who tried to convert me last December. And she was like, you can become Buddha. You can become God. And I was like, what? I can't.
I don't really want to.
It's just me.
Hell of a responsibility, if you ask me. I don't really want to.
I don't want to become Buddha. I'm fine being Itto. That's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm satisfied with myself.
Vesta was saying that, actually, Peter, first off, was saying Ayan is from Holland, and he knows her quite well. So if that's the case, Peter, get in touch with her and tell her I'd like to have her on my show. So that would be cool.
No, she's not from Holland. I mean, she is from Nairobi, and her story is really interesting. She's from Nairobi, and she was married, and she ran away at the airport. And her story is just
well, maybe she lived in Holland.
So I read all of her books. She's amazing. She's an ex-Muslim.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've had a few ex-Muslims on the show, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've had, I think the first one I had was before he kind of went a little sideways. He's still all right, but Armin, the founder of Atheist Republic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zara Kay.
I don't know that.
She's another ex-Muslim, also Ridvan, who's...
I don't know that one.
Ridvan is the apostate prophet on YouTube.
Oh.
And Faye the Most Gracious is another. She lives in England. She's another ex-Muslim. I've had a few on.
I know one Moroccan, and he's actually very, very well known. His name is Hisham Agnostic, but he does his YouTube only in Moroccan. And he has saved a lot of Moroccans, man, and he made people think. And I tried to contact him because he talks to Moroccan atheists, and he unfortunately doesn't talk much about disability. And I was kind of disappointed, like how Islam views disabled people and all of that. And they have a different media platform, and I try to use those platforms that he uses, but none of them is accessible to me. So I hope that one day I'll be connected to him, because a lot of Moroccans listen to him. And I hope that we can, because the way that disabled people are seen is really, really not something that I am happy with. So I hope there will be acceptance to the disabled people, whether they practice just some of it or they're atheists like myself. Because the psychological damage when we practice things that we're not happy with. I remember my Islamic education teacher, like I'd go, I stayed with her in the house, and I would go with her sometimes to the mosque, and I would fall asleep at night, especially in Ramadan, Me, like when they read, like I would feel asleep, and they will be so unhappy, and I would, blame it on my teacher, my English teacher, having me for the whole day, and I was fasting and I was tired, and I would go to the toilet and try to touch the wall with my hands and know if there is no window or there is no hole, so that no one would see me drinking water in the toilet. So it's, and it's not like we're not harming anyone by me not wanting to be fasting from 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. to like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. It's just like, as I said, yes, I understand like the fact that it shakes other people's faith and all of that. But if someone wants to do those things, to not practice those things, I believe that it should be a personal choice.
Right. I agree. Vesta Freya was saying, when I was at university, there was a visually impaired student taking accounting, and he had been drinking at the university pub, and he was so very drunk. Blind drunk takes on a whole different meaning.
Yes, I know. I've been there once, So.
And Derek Cruz has said, Itto, you have made my evening. Thank you very much.
I'm glad.
And then Peter piped up after hearing us talk about Ayan. He said, no, not that way. Ayan was part of our government for several years.
Oh, yes. And she talks in her book about that and how she ended up changing her name, and the government wasn't happy with that. And it's a lot of people think actually my name is fake because it's a Jewish Berber name, but it's my real name, and I'm happy with it in America. In Morocco, it was because it's not a Muslim name.
Right.
It was kind of an insult to me, but now I like it. It's easy to write. It's easy to pronounce however someone wants to pronounce it, and it's a name for an infidel person. So nice.
And I thought of it too earlier today, and then Peter brought it up in the chat way earlier, about your last name, Outini. It sounds like it's from the Jawa language from Star Wars. Because they always go, Outini, right? They can hear them saying that in the background.
Yeah, and actually it means in my Berber language, someone who owns a lot of dates, which, I love to eat dates, but I don't have date trees. I have to buy them. So.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we have many date trees over here.
Yeah, well, in Arkansas, we just have chicken.
Just chicken? You have chicken trees? Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, people said a lot of crazy things more than that. So if I said chicken trees, you at least could think that there is chicken living under the trees. So
yeah, or something.
you can make something out of what I had to say.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's what language is for, making up stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Itto, we have gone over an hour, so that's fantastic. If you could leave us with some words of advice, what would you tell everyone listening?
To my atheists or non-believers or agnostics, whatever they want to call themselves, I want to encourage them to reach out to the disabled communities, because there's a lot of neglect and there's a lot of abuse that religions have imposed to these communities. Last week, when I spoke with the Recovering from Religion, a lot of them were saying, you're lucky, but you gave me hope that there will be hope one day, that I will be also free. There was a lot of them. So
fantastic.
That is the thing. And also keep trying to challenge your friends, family, and everyone. Don't be afraid, even though atheism is seen as something that is bad, but we have to change that cultural norms towards that. And I am delighted that you guys joined us today. And also, if you have more questions, feel free to ask me through social media, whatever questions you have. Thank you so much, Neil, for having me in your show tonight.
It's an absolute pleasure, Itto. Great getting to finally meet you face to face.
Yeah.
And I do have links, and I added your Patreon link while you were talking, just so you know, because I didn't realize that you had it.
Yeah, I actually stopped it for a little bit because of my surgery and going to move to another state and all of that. But I will be back soon to it.
Awesome. But and there is a link for the Patreon below. My very good moderator extraordinaire, IQ, had popped it in the chat, and I said, "Oh, I didn't even think about Patreon," because usually people put their Patreon badges on their YouTube channel, and I didn't see one on yours, so I didn't think you had one. So I did add it now, and I've got your YouTube, of course, and your Twitter. So if you guys do want to, please get out there and follow Itto on Twitter and sub to her channel. She hasn't put anything out recently, but she will be. Again, she's assured me it's coming at some point.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, she even has a segment called Ask Itto. So there you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much for joining me today, Itto. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I look forward to some more communication through Twitter and whatnot. And maybe one day, when you have someone there that can assist you, I guess, for getting on into these chats and stuff, if you see or hear that I've got a a podcast going and we're doing an after party, you're more than welcome to join us for a bit of a conversation.
Yeah, I will try next time when I have someone, a sighted friend over, and I will tell you guys.
Excellent. Now, unfortunately, Itto can't join us for the after party, but I'm going to go for about an hour or so tonight, guys. So if anyone would like to get together, and maybe we can talk and brainstorm some ideas of how to see if we can't somehow improve things for the disabled members of our community.
Thank you, guys.
I think that would be a good topic, I believe.
Yeah, thank you.
But anyways, Itto, once again, thank you very much for joining me. It's been so much fun chatting with you and getting to know you a little better. Your story moved me, literally. And I talked to a lot of people, but some of them really affect me, and this is one of them for sure. So thank you for sharing. Everyone in the chat is giving you big hearts and props, and they're thanking you as well. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And you please stay safe out there. Yes, absolutely. That's what I was just going to say next. Usually towards the end of these things, there's a couple of things I like to go over. And one of them is for sure with the COVID thing going on right now, guys, remember to be safe and be well. And above all, be kind. And thanks to all my wonderful patrons. You guys are what helps me keep this show going. And like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. Yes. And we'll see you guys next time.